Somewhere in the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean, amidst a myriad of tiny isles nestled in turquoise waters, lay a serene haven known to few. Harmony and peace reigned there. People found solace in the simple joys of rural life, fishing, cultivating rice and vegetables, and savoring the measured rhythm and pure sea air. No towering buildings or noisy streets, just tranquility, gentle waves, and a warm sun overhead. It seemed nothing could disrupt this way of life, but fate had other plans. One day, a true drama unfolded in this paradise. The island was invaded by cunning rodents who began ruthlessly destroying food supplies, ruining crops, and disrupting the very way of life of the local inhabitants. Homes suffered, bags of grain were eaten through, kernels scattered across the floor, and people lost confidence in the future. A farmer named John Smith, a man whose family had tilled the land since its inception, was among the first to recognize the catastrophic situation. In despair, he turned to the island's mayor, the wise Mayor Thompson, who had guided this quiet harbor for many years. Mayor Thompson understood that if they delayed, the island would be on the brink of collapse. Then we must summon their natural enemy, the mayor declared unexpectedly at an emergency meeting. The decision, which at first seemed like something out of a fantasy, was made. To save the island, 1,000 cats were brought in. They were carefully transported by sea from all over the country because these furry hunters were precisely what was needed to save the harvest and, along with it, the entire life of the local inhabitants. Few could have imagined that these independent predators, stepping onto the island's shore, would change its destiny forever. In the early days, the cats quietly explored the unfamiliar territory, scouting out secluded spots, sniffing out suitable areas for hunting and resting. But nature soon took over. A strong hunting instinct compelled the cats to patrol the entire area, tracking down rodents, and it was already clear that tough times were coming for the insidious pests. But how did it come to pass that introducing cats became the solution? The roots of the problem lie in the moment when the rodents, initially not causing alarm, what can a couple of mice running around do, the islanders thought, began to multiply rapidly, penetrating barns, attics, and basements. The number of pests grew like a snowball, and the usual methods of control, traps and repellents, became ineffective. People felt more and more panic, as literally everything was under threat, from food warehouses to rice fields. However, just a few months after the cats arrived, a soothing silence reigned where rodent life had been teeming. The pests seemed to vanish into thin air. The cats did their job tirelessly and mercilessly. Farmer Smith, with tears of joy, saw that the grain was once again safe, the bags of cereal untouched, and the rice fields beginning to bloom. The islanders were uplifted, food supplies stopped disappearing at night, and the houses themselves felt a long-forgotten peace. Within 2 years, it became clear that the rodents had practically disappeared, but the cats continued their quiet patrols, as if carrying out a special mission. The residents, initially wary of the mass relocation of furry predators, gradually began to see them as saviors and guardians. Thus, the cat army received not only approval but also genuine love from the locals. They built shelters for them, fed them, and took care of their health. And each cat seemed to reciprocate. In gratitude, it continued to patrol the space so that no more pests would disturb this land. Young Ashley, who worked in a small cafe on the island, enthusiastically told the story of a funny striped cat she called Patches. At first, Patches cautiously looked at people from afar, but soon got used to it and even allowed herself to be petted, sometimes staying to doze off at the entrance to the diner. Similar stories began to appear everywhere. Each family had its own favorite, each yard had its own furry guardian. The cats no longer looked like an alien element, now they had become full-fledged inhabitants of the island. 8 years after the arrival of this furry army, the island, to everyone's delight, was officially declared completely free of rodents. Scientists, invited by the authorities, confirmed an amazing fact. thanks to the persistent control of the cats, the number of pests had fallen to almost zero, and nature breathed in a new way. For years after the mass relocation of furry predators, farmers were once again receiving abundant harvests and were able to live without fear for their warehouses, barns, and fields. By this time, only one question remained: what to do with the cats now? They had completed their primary mission, but no one could imagine the island without them. By the 8th year of the Cat Kingdom's existence, it was clear that the furry hunters had not only taken root but had also fully merged into the ecosystem and way of life. Moreover, tourists, hearing about this incredible rescue, flocked to the island to see the Cat Kingdom with their own eyes. Special zones were created for the guests, where the animals received care and protection from the local residents. Now that the island had finally turned into a Ragdoll cat haven, the locals could no longer imagine their lives without the tailed hunters. They had become not just protectors of the harvest but also faithful companions to people, reminding them that even the most unexpected decisions can lead to amazing consequences. Over the years, the cats scattered all over the island, choosing secluded corners where they were always greeted with bowls of food and kind hands. They lazed in the sun, strolled importantly along the shore, seeing off the fishermen, or patiently waited for their owners at the doors of their houses. But their natural instinct did not let them forget their main mission: to protect the island from new invasions. The island, which once fought against hordes of rodents, has now become an object of universal admiration. Rumors of the Cat Kingdom spread far beyond the Pacific Ocean. Tourists flocked here to see with their own eyes a place where cats not only live alongside people but also manage the way of life. Cozy cat houses appeared everywhere, where travelers could observe these tailed masters of the island. Cafes and restaurants even introduced special cat tables into the menu, corners where furry residents could enjoy delicacies and settle in comfortably. Old Mayor Thompson, sitting at his favorite tea shop, watched young Ashley treat striped patches to a piece of fish and just smiled. He knew he had done the right thing. No one could have predicted such an outcome, but could it have been otherwise? The cats not only saved the island, but they also became its soul. Passing by, John Smith lovingly surveyed his rice fields, once again full of life and fertility. He knew who he owed this peace to. His family no longer feared for the harvest, nor worried about supplies. Even the children, who once shied away from cats, now chased them through the streets, laughing and calling them by their names. As the sun set, and the orange rays painted the ocean in a soft golden color, you could see cats gathering on the roofs, watching the horizon. Like guards, they carefully watched the world around them, reminding everyone who lived here, this island is now their home, too. Thus ended the story of how 1,000 cats saved an entire world. But who knows, maybe somewhere else on the planet their brothers and sisters are preparing for a new mission. After all, where there are cats, there will always be room for a little miracle and a great rescue.